lot of content in this week's chapter of Hunter x Hunter. Tagashi, he came in. First of all, let's talk about the art real quick. That Kurapika panel where he's just there sitting with all the eyes looking. Tagashi just got sick of people making fun of him. He's like, I'm tired of you motherfuckers making fun of my art game. And he stepped it up. And I'm glad that he did because the art has just been, on par. And I'm glad that it is. So we start off with Kurapika, and you can see that definitely, like I said in my last review, this is going to be a heavy thing where Kurapika's story is going to wrap up probably with this arc, whether he dies at the end of it, whatever happens to Kurapika, this is slowly starting to wrap up his arc. He even said my journey begins here because this is the final obstacle that he has to overcome in order to get all the eyes back for his clan. So seeing that, it's interesting how with this chapter, if you look at it, Hunter x Hunter has deviated slightly in a sense from some of those past shonen elements that it started off with the friendship and things like that. I'd imagine one of the reasons is because they just allow Tagashi to do whatever the fuck he wants at this point. Like, his editor is probably just tied up and gagged in the closet while he draws. So I guess in that aspect, that's why he can do things like this. Like, if you look at Kurapika's character, like, the way he was talking in this chapter, he was saying, after I'm done with this, I don't really even have a home to go to after I finish this journey, after I finish this long thing that I've been going through. And it really makes you see that the character Kurapika, even after everything he's been through with Gong and all of them, he is still very distant from them. That friendship shit that was kind of like being pushed towards in the beginning of the series is not really there anymore. And that just kind of shows where the character is at. And I like in a sense that it's not just the typical, you gotta value your friends. Kurapika don't really give a fuck. It's like, no, Leorio, you're not getting my email address. You're lucky you got my phone number. He was having that interaction with Leorio as well. And he's telling him like, no, I'm not giving you my email address. That just goes to show that the character, he is still very distant and he still isn't where he needs to be. And I think after this arc is done, he needs to find out what he wants to do once he's completed this journey. If he lives through it, like, does he want to just go and hang out with Gon and them? Like, what does he want to do? Because after this, his life is going to be pretty much empty. He's putting everything, every second, every day into this journey. And then we pick up from where we last left off regarding Jean basically declaring, I'm number 2 up in this bitch, and I'm going to pay everyone double what Beyond is paying them if they have anything else to say, otherwise. So it was interesting that Jean wants to be number 2, and it automatically makes me think, so what's the fucking significance of being number 2? Now, from what we can gather, Jean and Pariston aren't like gonna be, rubbing elbows with Beyond. They definitely are just gonna throw Beyond out and just go in. So I'd imagine one of the things is Beyond would probably be number 1, I'm guessing. And why he wants to be number 2 is once they go against Beyond, they're gonna kick him out. He'll be automatically number 1 from number 2, and maybe Jing realizes that he could use their help on this journey, or he's going to need them. It really makes you question, why the fuck would he put such high importance on being number 2 in this mission? Like, who cares? But I'm imagining there's things regarding these people in general coming on the mission that Jean needs them for. He realizes that he's going to have to use them at some given point. Now, he's saying, I don't have any special requests. I'm not telling you to do anything. The main thing is that I want to be number 2. So it's really making you wonder why the fuck he wants to be number 2. Could it be something else to do with the V5? The way the V5 are going to look at the mission? Why so badly do you want to be number 2? And it was also interesting to see people turning around real quick. Like, that one dude was like, yo, you got the money? Ah, yeah, you're number 2, dog. You're number 2. And then the dude that he boxed out in last chapter, or seemingly boxed out, fucked with his mind or whatever, he's even like, I don't want your money, you can be number 2, I don't care. So Jing put the fucking strike of fear in a couple of these people's heart at the very least, and just getting to see Jing, it just feels fucking weird. Like, we've been waiting to see him for a long time, and now he's just like a regular character, like, he's just a regular main character in the story. It's like, I really just like Jing. Like, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this arc, he's my favorite character, like, bar none favorite character, because he's just so chill, he don't give a fuck. It's like, he can't even take care of himself. It's so hilarious. It's so much to the characters. Like, he's funny, he's wise, he knows what the fuck he's doing regarding every situation. It's like, Jing is fucking awesome. And you could easily assume Pariston wasn't trying to get no money from Beyond. Jing was immediately like, well, I could double your salary you're getting from this, but 0 times 2 is still 0. So basically, Pariston is just going on there for the lols. Like, I wonder if there's more to it than just a sick, fucked up mind that Pariston has why he's going in there. Is this really just also he can be entertained? Like, you're fucked in the head, I know that, but I really hope that there's more to it. Like, he wants to become some ultimate being so he can have more fun. Something there. Because other than that, it's just like, you're a nut job, bro. And here's the thing. I honestly thought that this prince being Kurapika's target regarding, him being the guy with the eyes and everything, I thought it would be a little bit less like, okay, this is just some regular prince guy. Kurapika could snap his neck at any time. He's just like some royal fuck that is just collecting fucked up things. But the way the guy, I'm going to call him Miltank, was able to say these things like, you know, be careful with him. There's a shadow over him. He's not the typical guy. This is going to be a lot more difficult than I thought. I thought, you know, he could get on the ship and if Kurapika once, he could just put chains around him and just beat the fuck out of him. But he might be a formidable person, and who knows, maybe he'll be one of the big threats that they have when they do go to the Dark Continent, because, I mean, at the end of the day, Kurapika even said, you know, why am I going on this journey in a way like my powers aren't... he understands why he's going on a journey, obviously, because he wants to get that guy, but my powers aren't going to be all that effective. But if this guy is a true threat, he said that he wouldn't use this on anybody except the spiders. Would he count this guy as like a spider because he does have his clan's eyes? Could it possibly be something else? Could he come up with a new condition? Could he unravel that condition? Could he extend on that condition? So definitely making me interested as to what Kurapika is gonna do regarding this guy, because this guy is being hyped up that he's more than just some rich motherfucker. And it was only like 2 panels, but I was just like, whoa, Gon can't release his aura. He can't make Nen, basically. So that also, a lot of things to talk about regarding that. First of all, that means that Luca's magic, or whatever the fuck it is, couldn't restore him back to normal completely. And it's possibility that when she did her magic, I was thinking because, and again, I'm referring to it as magic, I don't know, her ability, whatever you want to call it. When Kitawa said restore him back to normal, it could be that it's not that his powers are still locked, is that maybe she reverted him back to before he even learned Nen. Maybe it's not that it's still locked, which that could be also as well, but maybe he can't release his aura or Nen or anything because he's been reverted completely back to the beginning of the series. It could be that, or it could be that he's just completely not getting his powers back, which would be like mindfuckery times 10. Really interested in that. It's like, oh my god, why are you going to give us 2 panels? I want some fucking explanations and expansion on this. I really hope to God she doesn't just like throw that out there and like we don't hear about it for ages, because that's too fucking interesting right now. It's like, he can't release his Nen. Is it because she reverted him back to prior to even the Hunter exam, maybe as a little kid? Or is it because it's still gone? Once he put that condition, that's it. And then bye-bye. Either way, fucking Tagashi just teasing like a motherfucker. There was some stuff in this chapter that I felt like we already knew, didn't really need to get a, you know, brief breakdown of it again, like the 5 calamities. Like, I think most of that stuff, it was repetitive because we already knew about that. But the expansion on the main reason why these people, you know, the V5 and everybody wants them to go over there so badly is there's riches over there, but the risk is so high that they could be going over there to get these things, but bringing back even more fucked up things, because from what we know thus far, there were 5 different things. There were the diseases, all sorts of different things. And I'm not going to completely trust the translation that I got, because based on what they said that the 5 calamities are like chimera ants, or they're chimera ants, which that makes no sense how a disease could be a chimera ant, unless you meant that these 5 calamities are carried within the chimera ants, or the chimera ants can represent them. So I'm not going to really trust that particular part, but it really is, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward with this situation, because the Dark Continent is way too fucked up. But there's things like the source of all liquid, herbs that can cure any type of disease, electricity that a little pebble can fucking make things electric for an entire day, spit out 20,000 volts. So there's a lot of different things why they should go over there, but it's such a heavy risk at the same time. There's even something that could promote longevity, so it's possibility somebody can be immortal, which kind of ties to the end of this chapter, but we'll get to that. We find out even in this chapter, I mean, my gosh, the amount of content in this chapter, like, a lot of shit happened, but we found out that Netero indeed went to the Dark Continent. We got a little bit of a flash there. We see him with a guy named Zig Zoldak. Was that Zeno as a youngster, or who was that? I'm curious if that was a different Zoldak. I'd imagine it could have been maybe a brother or something of Zeno and them, or that was Zeno and that was his nickname back then or something. And then we see him with another person, Lynette Audible, which I'm not sure who that could be related to as well, but at the very least, I know that that's a Zoldak person that was with him, and it was just so fucked up, and he realized what the hell he got himself into, that he made sure, like, I'm gonna make this a rule. Which, again, that could conflict with Beyond, and that's why probably him and Beyond had no relationship, and he basically said, I don't have no relatives or anything, because probably Beyond was like, fuck you, I want to go to Dark Continent so bad, and you're going to ban this and make this illegal? Fuck you. Now, you could definitely see there's a big setup in the midst of all this regarding that guy that went to pay for his sister using the money that Jean gave him. He's going to be very grateful to Jean, and he'd probably even put his life on the line, because at the end of the day, he just helped to rescue his sister's life and give him the money up front. So he's going to be indebted to Jean. The guy that he boxed out at the very least is going to probably respect him enough to help out in the journey. So little by little, these small events are adding together for the journey. Then the end of the chapter with these two sides of the book, the west side of the book and the east side of the book. The east side of the book, they've had it for a while, and that's how they were able to determine the different routes. The west side is what they don't have, and Don Freecs. This book is 300 years old, and Don Freecs is the author, and he said possibly it's still in the midst of completion, so it still hasn't been completed. And if it's 300 years, how does that make sense? Remember, there's something that promotes longevity in there. What if this guy is immortal? What if Jing's great-great-grandfather or some shit is still out there in the Dark Continent, still writing this book? He would be a monster, and oh my god, that would be fucking epic as hell. Overall, I can't even deny it's just as great as last week's, probably even greater. I'm in the midst of 9, probably 9 out of 10, because there were some repetitive stuff in there and a lot of dialogue. Again, these chapters have been, dialogue heavy, but it was a great chapter. Too much stuff to give it anything less than a 9 out of 10. Too much great stuff. But let me know what you think. So many things to talk about. Don Freecs, is he alive? Is he still writing the book in the Dark Continent? Could he be immortal using some of those things of longevity? Why did Jing want to be number 2 so bad? Why is Gon not able to summon his Nen? Is it because he's completely been wiped out, like using that form just completely took it away? Or did Nanaka return him back to his previous state prior to him learning Nen? And where do you think Kurapika is headed after this? Let's just say he defeats the prince and he gets back home. What is left for him? What is next for him? And just overall thoughts of the chapter, if you could read through it. Because I've seen a lot of people, they can't even fucking handle this, which I don't blame you, because it is very fucking dialogue heavy. It's like you're reading this giant book with some pictures here or there. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, you can do so as well. That'd be awesome. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.